Thank you for watching the East West Football Podcast on the ASAP Sports Network. I am Fidel Barraza, alongside with me, like always, Jerry Martinez, Kendall Whitley. Gentlemen, how are you guys?
Pretty good, man. Hope everybody out there is the same.
Yeah, man, what a day, right? I mean, we're I think we're already talking about which games are we gonna try to make out to, man. So it's just exciting day for the NFL, right? Because now all the dust is settling from the NFL draft, free agency, and now we're kind of seeing exactly what kind of season we're gonna have.
All right, yeah. So happy schedule release day. So let's
Yeah.
go over some quick bullet notes. So this season, 12 teams have a maximum of 5 primetime games, which are the Bills, Bengals, Broncos, Buccaneers, Chargers, Chiefs, Cowboys, Eagles, Packers, Patriots, Rams, and 49ers. The Super Bowl champion Rams will be hosting the Buffalo Bills to kick off the 2022 season at SoFi Stadium. Also, the Rams will also play the 49ers on Monday Night Football in Week 4, host the Raiders for Thursday Night Football in Week 14, play the Packers on Monday Night Football in Week 15, and are away for Sunday Night Football against the Chargers in Week 17, which is technically a home game, so no traveling for the Los Angeles Rams. As a defending AFC champions, the Bengals will host the Dolphins for Thursday Night Football in Week 4, play the Ravens on Sunday Night Football in Week 5, play the Browns on Monday Night Football Week 8, play the Steelers on Sunday Night Football in Week 11, and host the Bills for Monday Night Football in Week 17. Now, gentlemen, when you guys first saw the schedule, what was the first thing that popped out to you?
Tampa, Dallas again, a repeat. I mean, the only thing is now it's gonna be at Cowboy Stadium, right? So I mean, right off the back, I mean, wow, they're not wasting no time. Also, another game that stood out was the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks Week 1. I mean, Russell Wilson is coming back, and wow, they didn't waste no time.
Something that stood out to me is how about a Super Bowl rematch from 2 years ago, Tampa Kansas City at Tampa on Sunday Night Football. I want to say it's Week 4, so that's the one that stood out to me. That is Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs going to get some revenge. That was a terrible performance that they had on that night at the Super Bowl. So that's what really stood out to me. A couple other games. I said the Eagles. I think the Eagles got a pretty good schedule to start out. I think their first 4 or 5 games are pretty good. After I looked over their schedule, it's pretty good. But yeah, that's what stood out to me.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, as far as for me, what stood out to me is obviously the kickoff game, Buffalo Bills, emerging one of the best teams in the AFC, going into Los Angeles and playing the Super Bowl champion, the Los Angeles Rams. Also, Sunday Night Football rematch from Week 1 last year, Tampa Bay actually going to Dallas this time, and of course Russell Wilson, Week 1 right off the bat, going back to Seattle and playing the Seahawks.
like I said, man. And you know what? Let's talk about that one game you mentioned. You said the kickoff game, the Rams versus the Bills. How many times did we hear that's going to be the Super Bowl
Ooh,
last year?
ooh.
And if the Rams kind of almost brought back the same team, almost. They got Stafford, so obviously Stafford shows that he can be a Super Bowl quarterback. He knows exactly what they have to do to get there. Um, Man, could this be the year that we do see the Bills finally knock it in and face off in the Super Bowl?
I mean, who wouldn't want to see a Jalen Ramsey versus Stephon Diggs matchup for 4 quarters? I would love that. I'm sure anybody will sign up for that.
Count me in too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great matchups, just in general, there throughout the whole season. But Week 1, I mean, it just starts off with a bang, right? And then also
Yeah.
you got the Steelers. Who knows who the starting quarterback's going to be for them? It might be Kenny Pickett. I mean, we don't know yet, right? But they're going to be traveling to Cincinnati to play the AFC champion Cincinnati Bengals.
Yeah. Man, I just feel bad for the Cowboys, man. I mean, because I mean that Monday game still feels so fresh, and you got to do it again, against the greatest of all time, and we're talking about Tom Brady. I highly doubt that the Buccaneers are going to miss a beat. They're still going to come full force. They're still bringing back the majority of their team. The Cowboys have a new faces, and
Hmm.
very important places, right? So,
Dallas has a brutal schedule to start off.
so I know that that's probably a game me personally I'd like to go. I think a lot of Cowboy fans that have took advantage of Tom Brady being the greatest of all time. I think this is one that you're gonna have a lot of Cowboy fans come out and watch just to watch maybe a true farewell from one of the greatest of all time.
Well, let me ask you guys this. So obviously, Jerry, you're a Cowboy fan. Kendall, you're a Patriots fan. I mean, we cover all NFL teams though, but the fandom stands out, right? Everyone has their favorite team. Jerry, I'll start out with you. Jerry, once you looked at the Cowboys schedule, what game stood out to you?
Man, honestly, I gotta say the NFC East, man, because things got a lot of a lot more interesting now. I think that it's not going to be a walk in the park for the Cowboys this year as far as getting that NFC East division. I think that just looking at the placement of when they play divisional games, are they playing them at home or are they doing it away? Because I think it's better for any team within any division that they get their rivals early in the season and away because you'd have that home field advantage towards the end of the season, especially when those games are kind of right there neck and neck. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, the Cowboys are going to be able to face off against Tom Brady and Joe Burrow. So with the Bengals, I believe do they have the Giants on their Thanksgiving?
Yeah, the Cowboys. Yeah, they play the Giants on Thanksgiving
Yeah.
Day.
So I mean, it's gonna be pretty interesting. Pretty interesting overall. I think it's I think this is a big year for Mike McCarthy, Kellen
Mhm.
Moore, and Dak Prescott because I'll tell you this: if they don't get it cut this year, regardless of the schedule, if they don't cut it out, if they don't at least win one game, I'm pretty sure Jerry Jones is gonna start asking not only questions about Mike McCarthy or Kellen Moore. I think he's gonna start asking questions about Dak Prescott.
Yeah. And what stood out to me on the Patriots schedule is we start out with 2 road games at Miami. That's been a house of terrors for the past for forever. And then we go to Pittsburgh. Then we end with Miami coming to our house. And we do have a Thanksgiving schedule this year, a Thanksgiving game this year against the Vikings. We haven't had one of those in a while. So I mean, it's been a while since we started the season out with 2 road games.
Yeah, and Kendall, don't you guys have like 4 primetime games in a
Like we
row?
got like 4 straight things. I want to say 5 straight primetime games
5 straight?
in
That's
the month of
crazy.
November. In November.
That's crazy.
I think that's unheard of. I don't
Yeah.
recall a team ever getting 5 primetime games in a row.
And
Yep.
those are tough, man, because you're gonna stay up till midnight watching that game, man.
Yeah, so hey, you're a Patriots fan. You can get a good dose of them. See what they're really about around by the middle of the season.
Yeah, and then I mean, as far as what stood out to me, I mean, the first 5 weeks of the schedule for the Raiders, I mean, it's kind of brutal to be honest with you. Um, they start off with the Chargers in LA, and then they host the Cardinals. They go to Tennessee. They play the Broncos, and then they play the Chiefs on Monday Night Football, I believe that is. So a really hard way to start the season for the Raiders, but obviously we're going to see what they're made of with all the off-season acquisitions they made.
That Chiefs Monday Night Football, is that in Arrowhead or in Vegas?
It's at Arrowhead.
Oof.
Hey, but you know what? I like that they play in Arrowhead early, not later
Right.
on in the month because of the weather.
Right.
True. True.
Yeah, so I mean, look, I mean, just first thoughts. I mean, just on the schedule. I mean, we got some really great games, man.
How about the
We really do.
McDaniels reunion with the Patriots? I think that's in Vegas later on in the year.
Week 17, I believe it is.
Yeah.
I'm also very interested to see the Dolphins and the Jets. I mean, those two teams that I said since last season, I believe, even the Panthers too. I want to see how year two looks for them because you got new coaches, you got new quarterbacks now. It's gonna be an interesting year, man. To for lack of better terms.
And the Patriots play the Raiders week 15, it looks like.
15.
Week 15. Yeah,
In
so
Vegas.
in Las Vegas, and it will be, I believe it's a Sunday night football game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Sunday night football.
Overall, okay, well then, how do you feel your Raiders are gonna do overall?
I
Playoff?
mean, really, honestly, I haven't really gone through the schedule and say win, loss, win, loss. You know, not yet, but I'll get some time in tonight. But I mean, look, the AFC West is just going to be a bloodbath. I
Those
mean,
teams gonna beat each other. They're gonna beat
all
each other
teams
up.
are good, right? I mean, all the teams are good. So I mean, the division is going to be very tough to win this year for sure.
as I look through the Patriots schedule, I've seen about 10, 11 winnable games. So we went what 10-7 last year. I can see us being a game or two better than that this year.
Ooh.
As a fan, you want to say, "Hey, you're gonna win every game."
You do, right? You want to say that you're going to win every game.
I mean, last year we were saying how the NFC East was easily the Cowboys, but this year I think it's the Eagles are going to be right there with the Cowboys. If anything,
I think the Giants might surprise a lot of people this year.
I hope so. I hope so for Daniel Jones too. I feel bad for that quarterback, man.
Yeah.
A quick question for both of you guys: do you think it benefits a team to having an early bye or a later bye?
Later bye.
Oof.
I think later just because the season's so long now. And I know they just essentially only added one more week. But, man, football is a brutal game. So, I mean, to add an additional game to these, I mean, it's just – I feel like if you get the bye right in the middle or maybe right after Thanksgiving, I think that would be the best time for you to have it. But that's just in my opinion.
Yeah, because the later in the year is kind of weird, man. I don't know about you guys, but it felt weird to see, we had teams still like out on bye weeks.
Around about week 12 or something like that.
Yeah, no, it just kind of felt weird, but something that we'll get used to. For
also, interesting note: the Patriots made 2 trips to Vegas, one in the preseason and in the regular season.
This year?
Yeah, this year.
Wow, you guys really like. Well, I mean, it's the Josh, right? Josh McDaniel.
And Belichick loves having those joint practices, so I'm sure they'll have those during the year too.
And the other thing that popped up to me is this might be Tom Brady's last year in the NFL. If you guys haven't heard, he signed a 10-year contract with Fox Sports. So once he's done on the field, he's going to be transitioning to the booth for a lot of money.
Hey, I don't know if you guys saw the Peyton Manning, Eli Manning, but when he came on, he looked good. So that's a great stepping stone for him. Good job for him. He has the.
I mean, great job for him, but man, Fox, good job grabbing him. I mean, after Troy Aikman and Joe Buck departing for ESPN.
The big question is, when is he going to start?
Look, they might have to wait a couple of years. I mean, we'll know once the season kind of unfolds and see how it goes or whatnot. But look, I mean, if the Bucks were to win the Super Bowl next year or this year coming up, I should say, why wouldn't he retire? Leave on top.
I think if we're going with that prediction, I think he wants to at least win one playoff game, and he'll be happy with that, and he'll be able to run off into sunset and join.
I don't think playoff games matter to this guy. I think he wants to win championships. And
well, yeah, he wants to win championships, but the way it ended last year compared to this year, I mean,
he was just playing at a high level still.
He went the Super Bowl this year. He's gone. He walks off.
But again, there's like a lot of rumors saying that, yeah, he was ready to kind of walk away because he was going to be a part owner of the Miami Dolphins. And then the whole Brian Flores situation happened. And just a lot of things unraveled, right? So with Tom actually coming back and, how long was he retired for? A month? If that?
Maybe. Yeah. I think who was it? Cristiano Ronaldo, right? The soccer player, the one that kind of got where he asked him, he goes, "Are you really retiring?" He's like, "Nah."
And then I think it was like a couple of days after that it came out, right? Or like a week.
Yeah.
So the next day after that video emerged, that's when he announced he was coming back.
It wasn't even about a month, I think, give or take, at least minimal. So
I think he announced it the week of the Super Bowl, did he not?
No.
Or the week before that. It had been around that time.
It was the week before.
It was it was botched by Adam Schefter.
Adam Schefter.
Remember, Adam got a lot of he took a lot of heat for that. Dang.
Yeah, he did. So, but yeah, I mean, the Buccaneers obviously have a lot of primetime games because the NFL is assuming, I don't want to say he's going to, they're assuming he's going to retire after the season.
Yep.
All right. Well, look, since the schedule's out, let's get some way too early predictions. And predictions, I mean, give me two teams, one from the NFC, one from the AFC that's going to make the Super Bowl.
I'll go first. As much as it hurts me to say, I was just talking to Jerry earlier about this. I'm starting to like this Buffalo Bills team, man.
They're really good.
I can't be saying this because they're in my division. I'm supposed to hate them, but I don't hate the Bills. But I would say the Bills are going to be the best team in the AFC. From the NFC, I'm going to go with a little surprise. I'm going to go with the Saints. I think the Saints are going to be pretty good this year. Bills and the Saints are my two teams to watch this year.
Wow. And that's because the Bills are kind of expected, you know what I mean? But the Saints are kind of like, wow, that's a big shocker. I mean, if anything, for sure, Super Bowl. I think the Chiefs have the strongest case to be there, but the Bills are right there. So
Mhm.
I kind of see that being the conference championship for the AFC. Now NFC, you can't count out Pack, man. Aaron Rodgers, still Aaron Rodgers. I know he doesn't have all the weapons he had before, especially Devontae Adams. Uh, man, and the Rams kind of almost brought back the same team. So give me the Rams and Packers in the NFC conference championship for sure.
Well, I can count them out, Jerry. So I got the Buccaneers coming out of the NFC. I think with Tom coming back and Chris Godwin being healthy after his injury. I just like the Bucks. I mean, they just have a lot of talent, and Tom's coming back, and they're just gonna. I think they're gonna have a really good year. As far as the AFC goes, I'm gonna go with the Buffalo Bills. I think this is gonna be the year they break through. I know a lot of America was rooting for the Buffalo Bills when they were playing the Kansas City Chiefs in the divisional round. And man, what a game that was. And Josh Allen really stood out. He's from here, he's from the Valley where I'm from. I'm going to go Bills Buccaneers.
Wow.
I am going to throw out a sneaky team at the NFC, and Fidel, you might side with me on this because you was on them all last year. The Minnesota Vikings. I'm going to side with them for that. That's my sneaky team from the NFC. From the AFC, I'm going with the Indianapolis Colts.
Well,
Wow.
Indy, I mean, hopefully Indy's got the quarterback situation figured out, but they keep on recycling older quarterbacks. So we'll see how Matt Ryan fares out in Indianapolis.
Right.
Speaking of Indianapolis, there was several reports that came out saying that they are still interested in Julio Jones
I
and
saw that.
might bring him in. So, what do you guys think of the Colts? Do you guys think it would be a good move to bring Julio in?
I'd say why not? I mean, shoot, if you can get 1 year flyer on him, I mean, maybe even at the right price. I mean, he's only going to help Michael Pittman, and he's going to help out Alec Pierce, right, become better pros, and maybe even free him up. Maybe he'll have a resurgence in the work in the slot. I mean, we've seen a
Mm-hmm.
lot of wide receivers transition from outside to slot, and man, look at Larry. I think it was Larry Fitzgerald who added how many more years
A bunch.
to
Yeah.
his Hall of Fame career. So, I mean, you never know. I know that Julio has. I mean, he has not been able to stay on the field, but you never know. It could be a good addition. The Colts look like they're ready. They reloaded.
And most importantly, he has that camaraderie and connection with Matt Ryan. So we forgot all about that. So it'll work out for him. And the Colts have a big wide receiver core. You got Michael Pittman, and you Julio Jones, another big one. I wish Paris Campbell can stay healthy. That'll be a pretty good core for him right there. But I mean, then they just drafted the kid out of Cincinnati, I believe. So I mean, they got a pretty huge, a big wide receiver core.
For sure. What do you think of them?
I don't know, man. I think you roll with what you got. I don't know what Julio brings to the table. I mean, everybody thought he was going to have an impact with Tennessee. I mean, we saw that he didn't have an impact at all. And I actually like what Tennessee did it by trading for Robert Woods, but I did not like that they traded AJ Brown away to the Eagles. Horrible move.
Well, we'll see, man. A lot of people are excited about that Traylon Burks rookie. So he has some big shoes to fill, and he knows it. But yeah, AJ Brown definitely did make the Titans a
I know
better.
Jerry don't like that AJ Brown move to the Eagles.
Nah, I mean, overall, I'm kind of excited. I'm ready. I saw somebody put out a list of the NFC East top wide receivers, and they automatically put AJ Brown there at number one on the list. And I'm sorry, man. You come into the division, you ain't gonna get that kind of respect right away. So maybe at the end of the year, I'll be saying I'm sorry. But right now, I think the CD Lamb is the monster in that division. He's only gonna be better this year.
All right, before we wrap up this show, do you guys have any final thoughts on the schedule release?
Oh, fans, if y'all gonna get y'all tickets, go ahead and get them early. Get them early for the game because they going the longer you wait, the more that price can go up. So go ahead and get them. Book your flights and all. There's some good games this year. I can't wait for the opener. Like Fidel said, Buffalo and the Rams. It's gonna be a pretty good one.
It'll be a good game.
Yeah, the NFL. All I'm gonna say is the NFL. It's very rare that the NFL misses, and they hit another home run with this one.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us today. Thank you, everyone out there, for watching and listening. We'll talk to you guys next Thursday. Till then, have a great week and stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.